Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Two Crazy Guys, One Crazy World podcast, a podcast that brings you, the uninitiated baby boomer Gen X and Ys out there, the daily updates on the crypto markets, as well as all the crypto news of the day. Join us, Stacey and Chris, for your crazy daily crypto update, where we might even throw in some other news as well. Good morning, Stacey.
Good morning, mate. How are you this morning?
I'm very, very well, thank you.
How's it down in little old Canberra land down there?
Oh, mate, Canberra is just such a wonderful, wonderful place. It's just like, it is just so awesome. It is just awesome. Like last night, we were getting ready for bed, right? And Suze was leaving early this morning. She goes to the gym at Sparrowfart every day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking day, except, maybe once or twice a week. And we hadn't put the draft stoppers under the door.
Oh, yes.
Under the front door.
Yes,
and oh my God, I'm standing near the front door and it is no bull like an ice blast coming under that door. And I thought, it's so good to live in Canberra. It is just the bees.
Well, it's, yeah. And it's Canberra at this time of year, my friend.
It is. And we do have a little while to go yet.
Well, yeah.
I forgot to say, in the intro, this is our daily update for a pinch and a punch for the first of the month. First of episode 30, 35 or 36?
What are we today? 36, I think.
36. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, who would have thought we would still be around after 36 episodes, that they wouldn't have hunted us down and shut us down?
I think they tried, mate, but we're just too quick.
That's why we're the Two Crazy Guys. We don't listen to them.
No, not at all.
And look, you can probably see the difference in us Two Crazy Guys here right now. You have Mr. Stacey sitting up there. Look at him; he's so clean shaven. He's in a nice t-shirt and everything else. I mean, that's it. And look at me. I've got a hat on. Jayco are not really our sponsors. They're just I've got a hat on, having a bad hair day.
Dude. That's no good. Yeah. Well, actually, I'm actually, I don't know if it's it, but I'm wearing my Yoda shirt.
He is Yoda. He's dead set. He is Yoda. He's from another freaking planet. I can tell you
that. Dude. So I will now commence Operation Share My Screen.
and I can tell you, you've done the first part successfully. Your screen has been shared.
Look at that. Tick in the box.
And look at Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen. It is above the 10,000 mark again, albeit by a smidgen, but it is above it. And it was up higher than that earlier this morning. It was in the 10.1 zone. So it is fluctuating a little bit, and who knows if it'll drop back down into the 9s. But this does show it hasn't forgotten what 10 looks like.
Well, it's been quite an impressive 24 hours. I mean, we've gained 5%. And
yes.
For Bitcoin, that is, and as you said, up above 10,000 US. But looking across the top 10, we've got Ethereum up 3, XRP's just 0.4, it's hardly doing much. Litecoin's had a big jump, up almost 10%. Now, that may or may not have something to do with the halvening event, which is happening somewhere in the next fortnight. And what that means for those that don't know, it means the mining rewards for Litecoin is going to halve. And traditionally in that space, when that happens, the prices of that particular coin usually jumps. Yeah. So it certainly launched with a nice start. We shall see how that goes. Bitcoin Cash is up 1.2, EOS is 3.7, Binance Coins
just quickly on that Litecoin though, because it has jumped up, right? They reckon that there's minor resistance around the 105 mark, but if it actually gets above 105, all the analysis says that it's going to get back to around the 140 mark.
Yes.
It's going to continue to climb if it breaks past 105. So that might be a good one to watch later.
Yes, look, absolutely, and so it's certainly around that halvening event. It's there's a lot of people talking that it's going to run. There's also a lot of people that believe that Litecoin should actually be 4-1 to Bitcoin.
Really?
Because Litecoin was developed off as a Bitcoin copy, right? And purely developed for as a fast, cheap medium of exchange, right? So that those small cash-to-cash type transactions. And but there's 4 times the amount of Litecoin that will be mined as opposed to Bitcoin. And so just from a pure maths perspective, they believe the Litecoin should eventually come to 4 to 1. Now, even at Bitcoin's current price of 10,000, that puts Litecoin at $2,500. So
I don't think Litecoin ever got quite that high.
Well, it hasn't, no, but this is what I'm saying. They're saying that the eventual end game for Litecoin will be 4 to 1. Yeah. So the growth potential there, if that's true, is very significant. So, one to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
And rounding out the top 10, Bitcoin SV's down to Fraz and Cardano's down to Fraz as well.
Yeah. It's not too bad, though. It's been a pretty good day on the markets overnight. You can see there from the numbers, though, that they are dropping a little bit. But we'll just see what today brings, because for the first time in a few days, we actually have a substantial little green bar on the chart.
Little candle there, so we've got a green candle but, for the last day. And as you said, it's got a little wick at the top. It didn't quite get to 10,100. But it's still sort of holding the 10,000 at the moment, sitting nicely between the 50 and the 100-day moving averages. So we shall see. We shall see what comes of that.
We shall indeed. It could be an interesting day, ladies and gentlemen. We'll hear us tomorrow morning telling you what happened.
Well, that's if we find out. But some are suggesting, and if I move on to some news articles, some are suggesting that this may have something to do with the jump in Bitcoin price. And that is because in the US, the Reserve Bank over there has in fact dropped interest rates. And it's the first time, I think it was 11 years, one of these, here it is. So the Fed cuts the rate for the first time in 11 years. So this is the first time since Bitcoin was created that the Federal Reserve in the US has actually dropped interest rates. So really interesting. So the chief economist...
see what happens from there.
It will be. But apparently the MUFG Union Bank chief economist has come out, and I love his comments. I'll just read through this because it's really good. It says, "Congratulations to all of you down in Washington who have lowered the boom on interest rates today. We guess you must be feeling pretty proud of yourselves. US central bank policymakers have learnt nothing from the experience of low interest rates in Japan or Europe. The economies of Japan and Europe aren't going up like a rocket ship, and it is doubtful economic growth will see any greater lift-off here in the good old USA. Go ahead and eliminate interest rates. Wall Street is already eliminating thousands of jobs in sales and trading, and more rate cuts mean reduced margins and less volatility, and thousands more will be told to go. Hedge interest rate risk. What interest rates?" Countries with low rates have economies with low growth. The Fed's decision today is like in the days when doctors bled their patients to heal them. Fed officials made a very unwise decision today and buckled to the president's demands by manufacturing reasons to cut interest rates. Despite a strong economy, with no recession signs apparent anywhere out on the horizon. The stock market may be partying today, but it will wake up with a huge hangover tomorrow as the Fed alters the way the country saves and spends and borrows and invests forever. I think they're probably proud of themselves, but they should really be more ashamed.
Excuse me. Did you see the key bit there? That by bowing to the president's demands.
Yes, which is really weird because, and that's really, I don't know why that's changed because...
because there was another story this morning that said it was Trump that was pushing for the rate cut.
Which is weird because the rate cut will yes, actually, no, that does make sense. Sorry, I had it mixed up in my head. Yes, so the lower interest rates gives access to cheaper lending. Cheaper lending will help drive the stock market higher, theoretically. Theoretically, right?
Which, when he gets kicked out of office in 12 months, means he's got more money.
Yeah, that's right. So there's So I wonder if it says here, the Fed praises US economy, blames rest of the world for cutting. So, the Federal Reserve's trying to blame everyone else because it can't be the US, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the whole world works on the US dollar, but don't blame the US.
But they're saying that if stocks plunge here, expect Trump to slam Powell for not hiking rates 25 basis points. So it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Damned if you've got Trump.
Yeah, well, there is that. But here's they reckon that the market did throw a bit of a tantrum. And they reckon that here that they've said that Powell overpromised and under-delivered to a market that will take a mile when given an inch, right? Which is Wall Street. That's what they do. That's what they do.
Yeah, that's what they've always done.
But they said investors wanted Powell to say that he's cutting, but they really wanted to see the Fed embarking on a rate cutting cycle. So theoretically, they should be happy, right? So with the fact that they've now done that, because this was yesterday's article, then theoretically the stock market tomorrow should be happy, right?
Yeah.
And but again, yesterday there was a massive fall off in terms of stocks and the yield curves. So it's not looking like it's going to go the way they want because the stock's basically tumbled. So it's going to be a really interesting trading day tonight as we see what comes when they've had a 24-hour or sleep on it and decide what they're going to make of it.
Well, so, they're all going to have a nap now, so we'll find out about this time tomorrow what they've done.
Yeah, that's right.
Now saying, I wonder if this was a good move or a bad move.
Well, and this is the weird thing, right? I mean, the concept was that if by dropping interest rates, the share market should be happy and should drive it higher. But by the looks of this, it actually dropped. So not really sure. Well, we shall have to wait and see. But still talking in the US, there's interesting that I think finally people in the government in the US are suddenly, hopefully, might be just starting to get the idea that they can't control Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And so there's a statement in the US Senate Committee on Banking and Housing and Urban Affairs. And this guy's name, Mr. Crapo, I swear I didn't make that up. That's his name, Mr. Crapo. And his statement was, if the United States were to decide, and I'm not saying that it should, if the United States were to decide we don't want cryptocurrency to happen in the United States and try to ban it, I'm pretty confident we couldn't succeed in doing that because it's a global innovation.
Yeah.
So at least somebody's getting the message, right?
Well, that story's actually on several of the networks this morning, so it's getting out there.
Excellent.
And they are absolutely finally coming to the conclusion that this is not going away.
No, absolutely, right. And more importantly, as he said, it is global, right? So it's not something that a single jurisdiction can regulate, change, ban, stop, whatever, right?
Absolutely. Now, I'll give you another little crazy. It's probably a really good example of why they will never stop it. What is one of the fastest, if not the fastest, growing industries on the internet?
Fastest growing. Well, fintech's definitely one.
No, but one of the industries. What sort of sites are out there that just grow exponentially?
You're talking about
adult sites,
pornography and adult sites, yeah.
Yeah, adult sites. Yeah. Because what has emerged is cryptocurrency is now being used in the adult industry world because of the growth of the adult sites and the fact that people obviously subscribe to them or whatever because they wouldn't keep growing if they didn't. But there's a stigma attached, so people don't want to be putting in, I'm going to Pornhub in their bank account to make a payment to Pornhub, that or things like that, or to the live streaming sites. So they're actually started paying cryptocurrency because it's cheaper, It's faster, and it's between the two parties with no third-party thing. And they're saying while it hasn't, there's actually an article on Cointelegraph about it today. They're saying while it hasn't become the mainstream form of payment in the adult industry, they expect that it most likely will. And that, whether you like it or not, that is one of the biggest industries in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. This particular this particular cryptocurrency, it was built exactly for the purpose that you said.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's called Spankchain. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
It's. I'm sure it actually should say.
That's just incredible.
Say that again.
That is just incredible.
Thought.
Issued on the Ethereum platform.
Yeah.
Wow, with a 24-hour trading volume.
Yeah, that's just the.
That's incredible.
Yeah, Sachs Exec.
The company. There's the story, yeah.
So yeah, but no, look, it's Spankchain is one of those ones that is, and it's only one. There's a number of them apparently.
I didn't even know that existed, dude.
When you're going down through the list of when you're going down through the list of hundreds of names, and you see something called Spankchain, you go, "What the hell?" It's like I had to read to work out what that was about.
Yeah, you know what? It gives a whole new meaning to tether. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. And that actually fits into the story on Tether today. Remember the other day, when we talked about Owner26 doing the $448 million transfer of Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Well, it turned out that happened 5 times in 6 hours. $2.26 billion of Bitcoin was transferred by Owner26 the other day.
Wow.
Now there's conjecture that Owner26 is Tether and that they're storing Bitcoin.
That's interesting.
It is, isn't it? It is. There's an article, ladies and gentlemen, on Bitcoiners there. If you want to have a look at it, we'll put it in the show notes today. Because I won't go into it, but it's actually quite interesting because no one knows who Owner26 is. But see, what happened was Tether actually made an announcement that they were going into the Liquid network that 5 minutes after the third transfer. And everything fell into place for them. So it's a theory. Like all things, probably a conspiracy.
Yeah. Well, and there's been plenty around Tether, let me tell you.
Absolutely. Well, it's just sitting there. It's dropped from 7 to 8. Go down. And you're never going to make money out of it because it's 0.1 or 0.1 one way or 0.1 the other way.
Well, I mean, that's right. I mean, Tether's just another, and there's more of them coming out every day, right? But the stable coins are there as a trading mechanism and to enable fast, quick exits and entries into the marketplace. So where were we? That was the article we were just talking about.
They cannot ban it yet?
No, that's correct. There's been a lot more. So remember we talked, I think yesterday, about the fact that Australia's imposing restrictions on our cash payments. That this news has been picked up all around the world. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. Quite surprised at how much coverage this is actually getting.
Well, it probably goes in line with the fact that Singapore is excluding cryptocurrency from the 7% GST.
Yeah.
So purchases through using crypto are GST free.
Well, look, it's more so around a lot of people are attacking Australian government for again restricting our rights as individuals, and this has been more the rhetoric that's been going around this. The other interesting fact about this is the fact that these they had a number of exclusions theoretically out of the legislation. But the way it's written is that the exemptions are actually not in the legislation themselves, but and I've got and I didn't get a chance to fully review it yet as to what they meant by this, but apparently it's in such a way that it's sort of a side note almost, that this is what they're not going to do to start with, right? But it does mean that they can just tweak it down the track, right? And then suddenly just remove those exemptions without having to go back to Parliament.
Well, mate, that's always going to happen. And if they make it grey enough, it's like any tax law. If it's grey enough, it goes to a ruling, right? Because you may think you're doing the right thing, and they get a tax ruling, and the ruling comes back and says, well, no, you were being naughty, and you get a fine because it's a grey area.
Yeah, so these some of those exemptions we were talking about was that any private transactions, excluding real estate, payments to or from government officials, payments taken in the form of in-transit cash services, payments constituting digital currencies, and the other thing is the definition around that could change as well.
Yes.
And then cash transactions taking place due to the absence of alternative modes of payment. And again, what exactly does that mean, and who makes that decision? So those things there are not actually written into the full legislation. So that could be those things could change at any time. And Australia has been copping a fair bit of flack around the world around the fact that we're even putting restrictions on these cash transactions. But Europe's been doing it for quite some time.
I mean, so is America. When I lived in America in 2001, you couldn't pay a bill with cash for more than $1,000 without it being reportable.
Yeah, well, Europe's some of them, some are €2,000, some are €2,500. So there's changes like that, but this is where cryptocurrencies will gain adoption, right? Because people will move to alternatives if there are alternatives. And interestingly enough, an ex-Goldman Sachs executive has come out and said, look, the Bitcoin market at the moment, Bitcoin pricing is incredibly undervalued. And he's calling for a market cap to $8 trillion. $8 trillion. So let's go back to QuadrigaCX. Right now, we're at 276 billion. Right, and that's for the total market cap. Right, and Bitcoin, of which is about 65% of that. Right, so our market cap for Bitcoin is only at 178 billion. Right, and so this exec is saying he expects Bitcoin, just the Bitcoin market cap, to get to $8 trillion.
That's incredible. That means the price of Bitcoin is running in the millions.
Say that again?
That would be the price of Bitcoin in the millions.
Actually, they probably would say here. So it's worth $8 trillion. So no, that's fine.
It says it.
I would have thought they would have put a price on it.
No, they didn't. They've just put a price on the market cap. So, but if you work it out,
I was going to say we could work it out. You just if we put in actually
8,000.
I don't have to.
So, wow.
My calculator doesn't go to 8 trillion.
Hang
on, if I go this way, it doesn't.
What we'll do is we'll actually work that out for you. We'll put a price up there in our show notes. Mr. Bose will buy a new calculator between now and then. All right, so 8 trillion is 8 trill. I'll put it down. Is X Bitcoin. All right. Okay. All right. What do we got, Mr. Bose? Because unfortunately, I'm going to have a young person come and interrupt me any minute now.
All right, so, and then if we moved on, this is the other one. So, and the constant argument you hear about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is you can't use it in the real world, right? It's like,
no, but you can.
You can't pay bills, you can't do this, you can't do that. Well, right now in Brazil, you can pay your bus fare with it.
Which is awesome. And this is one I forgot to tell you. As you know, I'm into flying remote-controlled airplanes, right?
No, I really...
just a tad, right? And it's really good fun. Yesterday, I had to buy some spare parts because, sometimes they don't land properly, right? And we no longer have a hobby store here in Canberra. This is just a quick side thing, but it is related to Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen. So we have to buy stuff online. So I went to hobbyking.com, which is the biggest retailer, I think, of all of this sort of stuff. And Bitcoin is now a payment option.
Really?
Online, you can buy all your stuff and you can pay in Bitcoin. It is, and now Hobby King is based out of Hong Kong. They have a huge warehouse here in Australia, actually down here on the south coast of Maria. But you can pay for your stuff in Bitcoin now.
Wow.
Which is a pretty good innovation because they are huge, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking Hobby King is massive. It's a massive company now. And anything you can buy. You can buy a $2 part with Bitcoin.
Really?
Not a bad innovation.
There you go. Oh, that's exciting. Yep. And look, and for those that may not have seen this, here in Australia, we have a site
where you can pay your bills.
Where you can pay. Oh, I have not entered that correctly. Let's try it. Oh, maybe it's just others. It's called livingroomofsatoshi.com, and you can literally pay any bill with a cryptocurrency. This is your list here, so you can select the cryptocurrency that you wish to pay your bill with. As you can see, there's quite a few.
You can now pay your credit card there, Mr. Bastel, as well.
You can indeed, right? And so you can either pay a bill, so anything with a BPay bill code, you can pay. You can pay it to an actual credit card, right? You can also pay it to an actual bank account. So you can actually send somebody real cash direct to their bank account with cryptocurrencies.
Yep.
And interesting, it's I love looking at the stats. I look at the stats for customers over the last 30 days, right? Do you see who the top billers are?
Yeah, Westpac
Cards, American Express, Commonwealth Cards, NAB Cards, Virgin Money, ANZ Cards. So people are literally paying off their credit cards with cryptocurrencies. I love it.
That's not bad.
That's fantastic. So if someone tries to say you can't pay your bills with cryptocurrencies,
yeah, you can.
Yes, you can. It's there. It is. All right, mate. Well, let's.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. We will put all of our show notes, as always, into the what do we call it? Into the show notes. All our show notes in the show notes. Geez, I'm on fire today. Bad hair day, bad talk day, bad everything day. Right? One last one. Remember back in I don't know, a couple of years ago, or whatever, that young fella what was his name? His name was Gerald Cotton. Remember Gerald Cotton, the Canadian guy who died, and he was the only one who knew the address of the wallets.
So was it QuadrigaCX, the Canadian exchange?
Right. Yeah. Yep. Well, they owe $198.4 million to 115,000 different investors, and the Canadian courts have just approved $1.6 million in fees for the auditors to continue trying to work out how they're going to get it.
Well, they reckon he's not dead. Right?
They reckon he's not dead.
They reckon he's not dead, and the story goes that he went for a trip to India, right?
Yeah, that's right. And disappeared.
It disappeared. Just so happens to be in a province or an area of India where it is well known where you can purchase cheap, fake death certificates, and the body's never been provided, recovered, seen. There's no evidence of the body. Right?
Wow.
So
he's in the Bahamas somewhere, I don't know,
living it up on the beach. Well, they have, like, when they went back over the finances with this guy, they discovered that a lot of the Bitcoin or the cryptos for the exchange had already been sent out to other wallets and other exchanges around the world. And because the excuse was that the user's funds were on a cold wallet that only he had access to. When they still haven't been able to access the wallet itself.
They're never going to,
But they know the address, right? So what they've been able to establish is that the wallet has no balance. There's nothing left in it. And the money had been sent out. He's been planning this for a while. So I reckon there's more to the story to come. He's going to show up on a picture
giving up because these auditors just got awarded another 1.6 million in fees to continue trying to trace him. Yeah. So if that's not crazy crypto, ladies and gentlemen, what is?
It's just insane. That is indeed.
All right, Mr. Postal. Oh, hang on, where'd the screen go? Look at that, you've just disappeared. I could do that. Well, that's a bit, probably shouldn't do that because it's
what are you doing to it, Mr. Deal?
Oh, the screen. I move my mouse, and every now and then, you get this weird bloody screen business that jumps around, and mine's doing that now. Wait till you going to shake your head. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been two crazy guys in one crazy crypto world. Giving you your daily update, episode number 36 on the 1st of August 2019. We hope you have a fabulous day, and we shall see you here tomorrow morning, where hopefully I won't be having a bad hair day. That's a really hard thing to have.
That's what hats for, mate. So it doesn't matter.
That's right.
All right, folks. Have a crazy old day.
I like my joke. Have a great day, everyone.
See you. Bye.
See ya. Bye.